Alright, I'll admit it. I love gacha games. One of the most hated aspects in modern gaming is arguably one of my favorites. We're talking about games that at their worst do everything in their power to waste as much of your time as possible, while also make you spend as much bread as possible. Oh, you want this fat butt new character? Well, that's going to be $200 to confirm your order, sir. Wait, what's up? You can buy 2 brand new games for even less money than that? Didn't know I was talking to a broke boy. As an enjoyer of many of these games, I completely understand why all these aspects are a turnoff. But one point that doesn't get mentioned enough in these conversations is how this infinite amount of bread opens up a brand new land of opportunity. Of course, everyone knows these games bring that money home, but even still, $30 million in 1 month is absolutely bonkers. And that's on the low end for some of these games. So when developers have this much money to play around with, they can literally do things that many other devs simply don't have the budget for. Domain expansion! Money spread! Unfortunately, there are a lot of these games that do nothing with all this money and simply uphold the status quo. But when you do find devs that listen and interact with the community, constantly update the game for the better, and have creative ideas that will continue to be developed for years to come, you'll come to realize why people are so addicted to some of these games. Also, the kicked up anime women and sexy niggas help too, but nonetheless. The absolute banger I want to talk about today is Nikke, Goddess of Victory. Now hang on a damn second. Many of you might be thinking, isn't that the jiggly booty shooter gacha game? Yes. Yes, you are correct. This is in fact what many would classify as a gooner game. But there's so much more to Nikke than very attractive women. There's also very attractive men.
Yeah, bitch. Welcome to the meat show.
When you boot up Nikke for the first time, it immediately throws you into the action. You're a rookie commander in an army that uses android women known as Nikke to fight back against this alien invasion that's already destroyed the world. And the very first thing that happens in the game is the commander going into cardiac arrest as his squad has been completely wiped out. Thankfully, a Nikke named Marion is present. Your ship has been shot down by an alien species known as raptors, and the explosion from the crash has caught the attention of all of them within a 100-mile radius. Marion has vowed to protect you no matter what, but she's not in the best state herself. Her leg is completely battered. The commander proceeds to wrap her leg in bandages, even though Nikke's can turn off the pain sensor, and stopping the bleeding isn't an issue either. This is just one of the many ways the commander attempts to treat Nikkes with the humanity they deserve. Nikkes have the edge on regular humans in many ways. They have way more strength, much more durability, no need to eat or sleep, and can have concepts downloaded directly into their brain. However, they're seen as less than by people in the modern society. Nikkes are thought of as disposable, which has rightfully formed a lot of animosity in the hearts of them. But Marion glows on the battlefield. Despite all the negativity around her, she will save the commander. The commander and Marion finally reach the rendezvous point, but only 2 Nikkes are present: Anise, a talkative sarcastic woman, and Rappy, a serious by the book's reserve type, which we later learn might just be her autism, but that's up for debate. The 4 of them team up and continue to press on until Anise looks up the commander's name and finds out bro just graduated from the military academy yesterday. Oh yeah, we're cooked. That's a no move. Rappy and Anise are low-key frying bro for being a rookie, but Marion steps up for him. Rappy and Anise's commander was killed, and Marion presses them by saying, you can't call nobody out when you couldn't even protect your own mans, bitch ass nigga. Oh my god. She then says, if I hear another nigga talking sweet about the commander, I'm fucking beating their ass. Hey, W mans, bro. Shout out my nigga Marion, bro. All my homies love Marion. The whole point of this mission was to search for a missing Nikke squad, but on the way to the coordinates, Marion claims to not feel right. Rappy suggests running some maintenance, and to do so, Marion needs to take her shirt off. Wait, where you going? Wait, don't leave. Listen, bro, hear me out. Marion doesn't really think this is the vibe because the commander is right there, but Anise gives us a lore drop about how the commanders don't even see them as human, let alone sexy. Ain't that right, bro? Hell yeah, for sure. We finally get in contact with someone else from the military, a girl named Shifty, who serves as our eyes and ears. Anise is spazzing on her for sending the ship into the middle of the enemy army, but Shifty says, those raptors don't have any anti-air weapons. Interesting. The team finally makes it to their destination, but there's no other Nikkes in sight. However, Marion claims that someone is here and goes on ahead to search. Shifty at the same time has also finished a report on what happened with the ship, and after reading it, Rappy ups the poll on Marion. She was the one who took down the ship. Over the many years of this war, raptors have found a way to take over the minds of Nikkes under certain conditions. Marion has been corrupted. The raptors use her body to send out a distress signal, and the boss battle is on its way to their location. Although there was only a 12% predicted rate of success, Anise and Rappy managed to take the dub, but the High from the Wind has no time to ruminate as they find Marion's body. She continues to repeat the same phrase over and over again, her brain has been fully taken over. She cannot be saved. The rules dictate that when a Nikke is corrupted, it's the commander's job to shoot a bullet through the Nikke's brain to ensure they never become a problem again. The commander aims the gun, but he simply can't do it. But in a final act of free will, Marion grabs the gun herself and thanks the commander for the help he provided. The very person who saved you by bringing you back to life, you now must save by ending hers. So yeah, that's the first chapter. As soon as you create an account, this is the very first thing you encounter. But them tits. Yeah. This game is fire. The narrative and world of Nikke was the biggest surprise for me. I heard it was good, but god damn, I was not ready for the level of storytelling held within the big, juicy, voluptuous, scrumptious, fat booty gacha shooting game. The feels you get from chapter 1 alone leave you with a level of despair that usually doesn't come until much later compared to other gachas. I really appreciate that shit gets popping off rip. No shenanigans, no tomfoolery, just sadness. Especially for how deep and thorough the lore of the verse is. I love the way Shift Up approached the story in this hoe. We're talking about a 100-year timeline filled with pain and sorrow. Now that's my kind of game. The lore is complex enough to keep you engaged, but perfectly places breadcrumbs through dialogue. Speaking of dialogue, I believe that's one of Nikke's strongest attributes. It never feels like the characters are just talking so we can understand the plot, but it all comes together naturally, as characters' personalities and demeanor tell a story of not only themselves, but of the world as a whole, and what it's made them become. The whole, are the robots really alive? Do androids deserve rights concept is a very popular cliche, but Nikke uses this familiarity to drop you deeper and deeper into despair. A large amount of the plot in this game revolves around the arc. When the Raptures invaded, humanity stood zero chance, and after thousands of efforts, instead of fighting back, the goal has changed to purely surviving. Humanity lives burrowed deep underground as a means of keeping as much distance as possible from the Raptures to keep the species alive. This new home for humanity is called the Ark, but what was once supposed to be a sanctuary for the people has become a domain of corruption.
Hi, what's up? I'm better than you. I have more money than you. I am more prosperous than you. I am abundantly richer than you. I have more money than everyone. I got more money than any president.
The wealthy have absolute control, and this power comes from the fact that they are the ones funding the creation of Nikkes, human-machine hybrids, which are meant to aid the people. Nikkes at one point in history were seen as heroes, the goddesses of victory. Title drop. But over time, they've been reduced to being seen as nothing more than tools to protect and serve the last remnants of human society. But other than that, Nikkes have no rights in the modern day arc. Some of them are assigned tasks to have them blending in with humans, such as a government worker or having them posted up in a trap to deal with gang violence. Privity, for example, has a job working directly with the central government and is thought to be human by most who know her. And they're so committed to the bit that they even gave her a human body to switch into, because normally Nikkes are like all metal, weigh like fucking 3,000 pounds, I'm saying big swole metal body ass, which is definitely helpful for, you know, espionage and stuff like that, but either way that thing gonna be thangin', so shout out to that. My fault. But other than a few exceptions, Nikkes are seen as non-human to the general public. Even though all Nikkes were once normal people, Nikkes have full machine bodies, but their brains remain the same one they had as a human. But their only tie left to humanity is completely discarded, as a lot of them are not allowed to think or act for themselves. The sad thing is, many people chose to become a Nikke, thinking they would be able to save the world by helping with the war, which yikes. But many people were forced into this life, like a girl who was murdered by the police and later woke up as a Nikke. And I am such a huge fan of the choice to make Nikke still human, but with the weird in between, because when it's full-blown AI or robots, we can still resonate with them and understand the perspective, but to make Nikkes just people with robotic bodies and the same brain as before, it makes the mistreatment they receive just so much more bleak, bro. It's so fucked, but it's so good from a writing point of view. Another thing I really like is that each character is multifaceted. Much like fighting game characters, gacha characters oftentimes can be very one note, having one main personality trait, and a character design to emphasize that even more. Of course, there are characters in the game who don't get much screen time and come off as simple due to that, but at least for the main players, their writing is amazing. Take Rapunzel, for example. When we first meet her, all we know is that she's a horny ass goonette, but as the game progresses, you realize that things were deeper than they seemed. When she was a human, Rapunzel was the daughter of a big time religious leader, and when she became a Nikke, she committed even harder to her religious views, even if she wasn't always the biggest fan of it. Until one day, the GOAT Red Hood came through and put her on to peak. Hey bruh, You ever heard of Fug Trup? And as a symbol of their everlasting friendship, Red Hood gives Rapunzel her favorite dojin of all time. Although her methods are freaky as hell, Red Hood's main message was to embrace who you are and stop holding back your true self for the sake of others. Now, did she exactly mean for her to become a gooner? Probably not, but hey, that's the point. Rapunzel, live your truth, queen. If you want to play rhythm games on that all day, that's your prerogative. Another major high for the game's story is that the main party is written extremely grippy. Whoa, I meant to say the writing is gripping, like it pulls you in. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, that didn't really, it's grippy. What I mean to say is that the main party is skillfully penned, elegantly prosed. Rappy, Anise, and Neon. Our three beloved goofy goobers have so much charisma that you never get bored of them. All three of their personalities are great individually, but the way that they all bounce off of each other creates this lovable chemistry that's always entertaining. Rappy's serious nature makes her the perfect straight man for the other two's bits and wackiness. But even though Neon and Anise are providing comedic relief, they're always ready to lock in when it counts. However, the sense of not taking anything serious is complex. Anise is peak sarcastic, and for someone with that personality in this world where everything is so fucked up, all you can do is joke about how insane your situation is. Anise is my favorite personally, but I am a bit biased because, you know, nigga like me, I always fuck with a crash dummy. She's one of the few Nikkes who talks back to authority because she simply doesn't give a fuck. But Neon is great too though, don't get me wrong. She perfectly fills in the airhead trope to add a bit more sauce to the team's recipe. Like, my dog a little slow, but that's my dog though. She might seem silly in many moments of the game, but her highlight reel is elite. She got the clutch gene for show. She's tapped into excellence many a time to ascend the team to greatness. And I know I've said this before, but I damn near always love the found family dynamic. And that's especially great here, as you get to see it start from zero. Anise and Rappy were already squad mates for a while, but with the addition of the commander and Neon, a lot has changed. Because the big problem initially is that Anise got a smart ass mouth, and that usually doesn't affect Rappy, or she just lets it slide. But Neon said, me personally, you're not gonna be talking to me like that, buddy, so I'm gonna need you to work that out. But watching Anise and Neon constantly argue and fight each other, transforming to them bickering and teasing like siblings, is beautiful work, man. And now they work together. With the power of two dickheads combined, they cannot be bested in verbal battle.
なぜですか？失っても構わない戦力ですから。私たちが？さては、私の話を聞く気など。私たちが？なぜですか？
One of the things I love most about this game is the way that the commanders handle. In most gachas, they make every character treat the main character like a king and have you get sucked to completion by everyone you interact with to make those who self-insert want to spend. And you know, I'm not saying this hatingly. If that's your vibe, that's your vibe. I'm not mad at it, but I'm just not the biggest fan of that style because I feel it can get stale very easily. And Nikke does exactly that. But what I enjoy about it is the lore reason for everyone treating the commander so highly. Nikkes are seen as disposable, so for a lot of them, sucking up is a means of survival. It's hella dark, but it gives so much texture to the world, and it makes the characters with the courage to talk back stand out even more. The commander's main goal is to liberate all Nikkes and return to them the freedom they once had and deserve. Even though doing this might start a war with what little remains of humanity, he doesn't care. Nikkes deserve the right to choose. When faced with the idea that some Nikkes will probably turn their back on humans and try to execute them as a means of revenge, the commander stays true to his ideals. Nikkes deserve the right to choose. And I may be reaching here, you know what I'm saying, fuck with me though, but I do definitely think there are some parallels to feminism in this game. Intentional or not, I feel it serves as a solid allegory for issues many women face in society. Nikkes are seen as less than by a lot of the general public, constantly disrespected as their wishes are actively denied. There are many Nikke who chose to become these super duper cyborg niggas, but many had no choice at all. Many Nikkes are plagued by a horrifying past, existing in a system that failed them even as a human. So for the commander to come through and be the shining symbol of hope, aiming to push forward and truly change the world, it's easy to understand why he's so well respected. Although almost every Nikke wants to deep throat the commander, it doesn't always feel like an empty attempt to appeal to the player. This guy's fucking sick actually. I'd suck him off too. Man's like me always gonna respect some robo strokes. Something else that I really enjoy about Nikke is the way they handled the Raptors, aka the aliens. I feel like inherently evil beings in fiction can for sure be interesting, but sometimes it can feel like a lazy cop-out to have an easy antagonist, and that is exactly why the Raptors in Nikke are so good, because in the first few chapters of the game, they seemingly have no thoughts, and all they do is kill humans and Nikkes alike. That is until we finally come across one that speaks fluently, and from that point forward, there are dozens of moments throughout the story that make you have this moral dilemma of like, is this the right way to go about these things? You telling me this fine-ass chocolate goddess is the enemy? Shit, I mean, what she do though? What she do? Nah, she really did that? I gotta do my research. After a major event within our squad, you begin to question the situation even more so, and that's just fantastic writing in my opinion. It's a fascinating way to handle an evil race or evil creatures against humanity. I just can't say enough how phenomenal the narrative in this game is, bro. I highly suggest everyone at least give it a chance. However, there is one big problem that has stopped and will stop many from attempting to try this game. Nikke is a visual novel. Now hold on a damn minute. I know visual novels get mad hate, especially these days, but I assure you that peak is just around the corner. You just gotta let that motherfucker in now. Yes, Nikke's main way of storytelling is through the visual novel format. Oftentimes it'll be a spine model or live 2D, I'm not sure what these are, but it's like, you know, the models are talking to each other back and forth, and I get how this could seem boring. I really do, I feel you, but the quality of the story and the quality of the voice acting, it sucks you into the world and will have you so immersed that any issue you once had with the methods are gone. Nikke also switches to these cool like 2D wallpaper type arts for the important moments as well. And whenever you see one of these animations, you know shit is finna get serious, nigga. And sometimes they'll just drop some of the most beautiful artworks you've ever seen in there to switch the flow up astronomically. And when it's really time to lock in, the game also has straight up anime cutscenes that make every hour you spent reading and listening worth it. These cutscenes are fantastic, and as the game has gotten more and more successful, the quality and frequency of these animations has continued to improve alongside it. Now, I am in fact the guy who made a whole video ranting about Honkai Star Rail and how its lack of visual direction heavily dilutes its great story. Hashtag add that videos on the second channel if you want to peep. Yeah, follow me. But now I'm praising another gacha for doing the exact same thing, but the key difference here is expectations. Nikke lets you know from frame one, hey bud, this is a visual novel, get ready to read and imagine, fuckboy. While HSR on the other hand sells itself as a semi-open world RPG, Nikke never made you think it was something it wasn't. It also helps that Nikke was built and set up entirely around the visual novel format, while in HSR it feels like a style used to cut corners. However, I will admit, I think Nikke could absolutely improve its visual presentation as well. Most of the dialogue is just two in-game models emoting and yapping at each other, but more of these dynamic scene animations will go a long way in terms of just how immersed you can get. More of these anime cutscenes will go hard too, and will greatly aid in fleshing out the world. I get that visual novels are not everyone's cup of tea, but Nikke is a great way to hop into the genre in my opinion. But for those who aren't the biggest enjoyer of this storytelling method, don't worry about it, because it's greatly balanced out by the gameplay. There's a lot to love when it comes to Nikke. Clean ass character design, amazing plot, great voice acting, and generational heaters that I actually listen to in the car. But what always keeps me coming back is that gameplay. This game's core combat is real deal fun as fuck, and it's so engaging that you don't even realize your main DPS is throwing that ass. Okay, that's a lie. I am in fact noticing. But you feel me though, it's just as fun as something like Time Crisis, but instead of a cool ass action hero dude, it's caked up women. So the way combat works in Nikke is you go into battle with a party of 5. Within this party, you're gonna need one of each 3 burst numbers. Every character has one certain burst number attached to them. Or if you're the fucking GOAT, you just have all 3 by yourself. But basically, bursts are ultimates. And once you finish a combo of bursts, going from 1, 2, then 3, you enter what is called full burst. And in this mode, you have 10 seconds of enhanced damage, and your character's specific passives activate. This base system is so clean because it allows for so many little differences in teams and setups. For example, let's take my baby mama, Summer Niece, my beloved. She's a shotgun user, and whenever she fires her last shot, she lets off a missile that does crazy damage. And in her burst, it lowers her ammunition so you can shoot these missiles even faster and skip to the real damage portion of her kit. Now combine her with Privity. Yacht. Her burst lowers the ammunition for the entire party, meaning that with these two in the team, Anise is constantly maximizing her damage as she gets her last shot off more and more fast. What? As she's able to more quickly get her last shot off. There's so many cool kit interactions to mess around with. It makes team building fun as hell. Like there's some burst 1 units that reset the burst meter, meaning that you need 2 burst 1s to make sure you hit full burst. I know this sounds like gibberish, but listen, try the game yourself, bruh. Nikke really is one of those games where watching it doesn't do it any justice. The game is so much more fun to play than it is to watch, at least until you understand the mechanics. But if you don't give a fuck about anything I just said, you can just put that hoe in auto battle and handle your business. That way you can really lock in and get that one-handed gameplay as average advertised. Side note, but Nikke really did have some of the weakest ads I've ever seen in my life for its debut, bruh. Like, dog, I don't know who this is supposed to appeal to, but it's for sure not me. Back on track with the combat. I also really love how creative Nikke gets when it comes to how units attack. You would imagine that most characters in the shooter game will use a gun, right? Wrong. I told you stop doing them whippets, little bro. One of my favorite characters in the game is Scarlet, a Nikke who wields a sword in battle, while all her companions continue to let that blick speak various languages and such. Canonically, Scarlet is exceptionally powerful due to the fact that Raptors have evolved to fight against Nikke grade guns, but they have not evolved to fight against this one sword user, making her blade even more deadly than before. This shit is so fire, bro. Like, her base form is considered a machine gunner, and she's doing like the fucking anime sword slice. She's like, you can't see what animation I'm doing, but you know what I'm talking about. The sword, the anime sword shit, that, you know what I'm saying, the sheet. I'm 24 years old. Let's get into the game modes. The campaign is the main focus of Nikke, following the present day of the game's 100-year timeline, and the pacing of it is perfect. The beautiful background art and highly detailed spine models make the visual novel storytelling flow with no issues at all. You get a quick 5-minute dialogue sequence max, then it's right back to the action. This is personally my favorite mode due to the fact that the balance of story and gameplay is split up extremely well. You never lose the hype of the story, you never get bored from hearing niggas talk your ear off either, because you're immediately back in the field up and stick on niggas. In between these two sections, you traverse through various hub worlds in this chibi form, and I'm a big fan of the way you complete chapters, bro. This shit is fun as hell, and the hub worlds are cool as fuck too, but like the amount of detail that some of them have is really good in terms of world building. In chapters 22 to 24, you go through the arc and you actually get a firm sense of how everything is set up and like where these buildings are and like, you know what I'm saying, where the hood is and shit. It's fun, it's fire. Next up, we have events, which arguably hold the best story moments in the entire game. I'm only on chapter 25 currently, so maybe I'm not tapped in, but man, I've dead ass cried to some of these events, dog. The way events work in Nikke is it's either the most wholesome slice of life antics you've ever seen in your life or the most abysmal, depressing stories you've experienced in years. Nikke makes a point of dropping lore relevant events for every anniversary and half anniversary, and thus far, they have not missed at all. Many of these events take place decades before the main plot and answer all the hows and whys that we have for the current day. These events are brilliant narratively, as they not only tell a great self-contained story, but inform and foreshadow plot points that happen in the future. My favorite event so far is probably Old Tales, which I will not spoil at all, but let's just say it's fucking brutal. Damn! Bro, she done beat the fuck out my nigga, bro. After that, I'm gonna have to put Overzone, which follows the story of the most important squad in lore. This is the event that the community always tells people to play as soon as they can, and I held it off for a while because I was like, man, you know, I'll get to it. I'm enjoying the campaign right now. But once I finally sat down and played it, my mindset changed about everything. I don't know, this really might be my favorite event, bro. It's really a toss-up. That's how good the events in this game are, bro. I don't know. It's either Overzone or Old Tales. They're both so good, bro. Like, oh my god. But dude, Nikke, I'm just saying, hey, be ready, bro, because Nikke is an extremely dark game. But although I love the events, I have one major gripe with them. Even though the stories are very good, sometimes it can feel monotonous to push through all at once due to the fact that the events essentially have no gameplay. It does have combat sections in it, but the level is so low that you can swoop through all the missions with even a new account. So once you get to end game, these combat sections basically don't exist given how easy they are. In the main campaign, everything just flows. You get a little convo to progress the story, then you engage in a challenging battle to add even more hype to the amazing lore drops. The breaking up of gameplay really keeps you locked in, and I really wish events had meaningful encounters to keep you on your toes like this, as the dialogue sections for these lore heavy events can be like 10 minutes sometimes. I don't know, maybe I just got goopy gamer brain, but I think at least some form of difficulty will add to the experience. After that, of course, you got the classic farming for materials loops, some challenging modes to get extra rewards, yada yada yada, you get the point. It's all very fun and force you to mess around with team comps and understand the game more. Last but not least, we have the mini games. It's honestly hard to put into words how astoundingly good the mini games are in Nikke. What do you mean they just dropped Vampire Survivors in an event? What do you mean they just dropped the most fun battle defense game I've ever played in my life? How? The amount of effort Shift Up puts into these mini games is genuinely ridiculous. These hoes are quite literally so good that they could stand on their own. And with the second anniversary event, this statement continues to become more and more true. Them boys at Shift Up are dead ass fucking crack with these mini games, bro. They'll drop a whole ass event with 4 hours of bleak sadness, throw in the greatest OST you've ever heard in your life, then throw in a whole ass side scroller adventure game. How do they do it? It's gotta be for the love of the game, bro. It's insane. It really is. Please try this game, bro. I'm telling you, this shit is fire. I know a lot of people can't get past the fan service, but there is genuinely a fantastic game hiding behind all these BBL bandits. Man, oh man, don't even get me started on the music of Nikke, bro. Say what you will about gacha games, but they do not hesitate to put in some fucking earworms, bro. Holy moly. And the OST for Nikke specifically is unreal. Like, bro, listen to the soundtrack for the menu where you go to farm items, bro. They did not have to slide this hard, but they did. Why were niggas in the studio cooking up like this? Fire ass niggas, man, what is y'all problem? Why are you so skilled? What have you sacrificed for this power? People might call me a tweaker, but Nikke genuinely has one of the best soundtracks in modern gaming. I know I said that about Stellar Blade a couple videos ago, and yes, both statements are true. Shift Up has some of the best music in the industry, no debate. The big bouncy booty game has some of the hardest songs I've heard in my life, from multiple different genres. The range of this soundtrack is fucking absurd, dog. It goes from hard ass dubstep to relaxing lo-fi to cinematic near type beats to straight up metal, bro. This game is on some other shit. So when you finally pull up to a boss battle after watching however many hours of straight agony and turmoil, having bangers like this playing makes the moments go so hard. To this day, the Land Eater boss fight sticks out as the moment I became committed to this game, bro. The scene was so perfectly set that I fell in love. I couldn't believe that Peak was just served to me like this. Oh, let me let the OST rock out a little bit. Woo, yeah! Bro, why's the fucking OST so cold, bro? Now this game cold, I don't care, bro. I don't care, bro. Call me what you want, bro. Call me a gooner, you know what I'm saying? Call me the Lord of the Goons, bro. Hey, this shit hard. The game has had all sorts of producers, and it worked with a variety of different vocalists as well. They even got a song with Queen Bee on this bit, and that hoe is a certified slapper, a real deal ass thrower. But the main producer of the game, Cosmograph, has shown himself to be a musical genius, as they've produced or co-produced most of the music in Nikke. Hats off to you, big bro. This nigga's bag is truly infinite. To go from making this tough ass Jersey club song to making this jazzy ass Persona boss theme is incredible. Buddy is truly built in a different manner. Despite this being a gacha game, and despite all the negative traits that usually come with the genre, Nikke has been able to benefit from the success this style can bring in, while also providing the fans with a wonderful experience. However, it does in fact suffer from some of the common issues found in gachas. It has some of its own uniquely annoying elements as well, but the team's connection with the community and the seemingly true passion for the game shine through to give hope that the experience will improve in the future. I hope. Please. Please? Nikke is very generous for the most part when it comes to gems. The game gives you so many pulls just through playing the story and doing your dailies that you really can eventually get almost every character in the game. Now, is every character in the game good? Fuck no. Slay bitch ass nigga. I don't know what you finna slay cause you do no damage, but keep it going, bitch. Yo. Now, one big issue with Nikke's gacha system is that it doesn't have pity built into the actual wish section itself, meaning that you can literally pull 1,000 times and still not get the feature SSR. Trust me, I know from experience. But what Nikke does instead is that for every pull you do in a featured banner, you get what is called a golden ticket. And once you have 200 golden tickets, you can literally just buy any SSR who's running, and you can save these tickets for as long as you like, meaning that you could continue to pull and use gems from regular rate-up characters who have a 2% chance to drop. Then you could save your tickets to buy the limited and godlike units who only have a 1% chance to drop. For the standard pull banner, you can wishlist 5 Nikkes from each faction to guarantee that when you do get a 5-star drop, it will be one of these units. And they've recently added an update that allows you to choose which pilgrims you get if you win as well. Shout out to the devs, man. That's a W improvement. However, there is one major issue that spawned from the gacha system Nikke has set up. Firstly, it is in fact pretty cool that it's relatively easy to obtain most characters in the game once you have an account for a while. But one problem that comes from this is that the game does not give you nearly enough resources to level everybody. Even the whales in the Nikke community have vocalized their struggles trying to upgrade multiple teams as newer units release, because unfortunately, skill is not a huge feature in this game. Every character you own is assigned a power level that can go up or down depending on the investment you put into them. This adds up to an overall team power rating, which is then ranked against whatever content you're facing. So if your squad's power is 100,000 and the enemy's power is 100,000, you're most likely going to win the fight if you have a basic understanding of team building. But when the enemy has a higher power level than you, that's when the issues arise. The game literally debuffs you. If the enemy power level is 140,000 and your power level is 100,000, you receive a stat penalty of 55%, bro. This is ass. The power level shenanigans bleed through the entire game too, even the main story. I wanted to catch up to the latest story chapter for this video, but it's dead ass not possible. It will take me months, maybe even a year to upgrade my account enough. Of course, there are some teams and characters that are strong enough to push you beyond these power deficits, but even then it gets to a point where your stats are literally so debuffed that any team is just trash. And this ties in with my main overall problem with Nikke. The progression is just too slow. Once you hit level 160, you cannot level up your characters any higher until you get 5 different characters with 3 duplicates respectively. And like, yeah, you get a decent amount of pulls, and getting dupes in this game is not as crazy as it is in like a Hoyo game or something, but this 160 wall literally halts all progression in your account for like 3 to 4 months, bro. Why would they do this? I do truly love this game, but the upgrade speed is omega buns, especially since you can't even play the main story up to a certain point unless your account is mid-game to end-game. Making the hardest modes in the game require in-game investment? For surely, I fuck with that. But nigga, why is the main story the end game? I'm trying to think of an equivalent example. Like, imagine if in HSR you couldn't do the main story until you could 12-star MLC and like all other in-game content. Like, damn, let me experience peak, please. I do genuinely love Nikke. I still stand by all my previous points, and I think the journey is worth it, but you should absolutely be aware of this grind. I'm sure it goes without saying, but the character design in Nikke is top notch. Gooner thoughts aside, each character is unique and has an easily distinguishable silhouette. Add that with the amazing art on top of some absolutely god tier live 2D animation. You're cooking with gas, brother. I really do love the models in this game though. And something I really appreciate about Nikke's character design is that they're not afraid to mess around with different skin tones. In a subsection of gaming where the top games have almost no variation in skin color, with some of them actively avoiding it, Nikke's constant variety in shades is a breath of fresh air.
Good job, man.
All right, nigga.
It's cool to see a gacha game take full advantage of all the doors using different skin tones can open, because by simply messing around with skin tones, you can achieve a lot more distinct looks for your characters. This is why I personally feel Nikke's character design is so fire, because they toy around with all these different elements and colors, and sometimes they cook up the baddest brown skin woman you've ever seen in your life. Hubba hubba. Zoo-wee mama. I also really like how almost no character is the exact same color. Even amongst the fair skinned characters, they have varying ranges of paleness, which is fire as hell, honestly. It shows the attention to detail placed on each individual model. They're not just copy and pasting the same shades across multiple characters. They're taking the time to respect each one personally and respecting their own space as a cast member. You know what, man? There's nothing wrong with a little bit of gooning. Just because something is freaky as hell doesn't mean it can't also be thought-provoking and have an engaging narrative. People often write off media these days as, it's just a gooner game, etc, etc, but I feel this mindset is robbing people of things they would probably actually enjoy. Gooning and good content are not mutually exclusive terms. Yes, Red Hood might have her entire ass out during battle, but she's also the best rating character in the game. She has a deeply layered personality that's integral to the plot, but she's also in a gimp suit, so yeah. Anyway, please play Nikke. It's pretty cool. That's gonna be the end of the video, man. I appreciate y'all watching. If anybody is watching up to this point, bro, I'll fuck with you for real, man, because this is my longest video so far, bro. I have not made a fat ass video like this. Yeah, let me know how y'all feel about it, man. Was the pacing fire? That was my biggest thing I was worried about with this video, like trying to maintain the pacing over the long time, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Fuck with me. But yeah, I apologize for taking so long in this video, man. You know what I'm saying? Life is crazy, big. But yeah, I appreciate all the support, man. Thank y'all for 10K subs. Thank y'all once again for all the love you showed on the Goku Rakugan video and the goddamn Noah Senpai video. Shit's really crazy, bro. It's dead ass crazy. But yeah, follow me on Twitch at space_man777_. You know what I'm saying? We be getting active, man. And I appreciate, thank y'all to the people who subbed on Twitch and stuff too, man. Y'all niggas real as hell. Let me know how y'all feel about the video. How you feel about the longer videos. Every video not gonna be this long now. Goddamn. Every video not gonna be this long. I just had a lot of I just had a lot of shit to say, you feel me? I'm yapping. All right, I'm getting out of here. Thank y'all for watching, especially if you watched to this point, bro. You really real. You really real, bro. I fuck with you on God. But yeah, y'all have a blessed day. Deuces. Bye.